Oh man, be sure to join us every emoji do Kuumba for those uninitiated. That's Monday through Saturday at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on gnj.media, or join our private Facebook group at Imani Journey, or join us on Telegram at GNJ Tribe. Come on out and join the family as we talk about our culture and we build into the future. The only thing that's missing is you. Come on out, let's build. 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Shows are pre-recorded. But if you leave a message, I promise we will get back with you. We are out. Without any further ado, you have Brother Hatim. We are joined by Super White Guy today. Yep. I got cartoons too. Yep. Just gotta go through all my folders. For some reason, I stockpile on the old movies. But today we'll be talking about Kuumba and purpose and family. I hope that you are able to get what you need from this, because our goal here at Imani Journey is to bring you value and to plug you back into your powerful, wonderful, marvelous culture. Get you walking hand in hand on this road to success with your ancestors, because they have already left us the methods of getting there. It's just a matter of us finding and doing the work and mining the crystallized wisdom that was left for us. So that's what we do here at Imani Journey. So thank you for joining us, family. And hopefully you will consider becoming a supporter of gnj.media. Just go to gnjmedia.support. That's gnjmedia.support. And become a GNJ Media supporter. Now let's get it. Anime. If you would, pretty girl, could you let them know what's coming up?
It's the proverb time.
Proverb of the day. And this one kind of stumped me for a second, but maybe you can figure out. The eggshell cannot be a mother of its resulting offspring. The eggshell cannot be a mother of its resultant offspring. Tell me, what does it mean to you? And of course, we move into what is it now? Folktale time. Folktale time. Family, it's folktale time. We got the 2 bags. Every man, according to an ancient legend, is born into the world with 2 bags suspended from his neck. A bag in front full of his neighbor's faults, and a large bag behind filled with his own faults. Hence, it is that men are quick to see the faults of others, and yet are often blind to their own failings. No! Get the message. Get the message. Those of you that are on the Guzaba Challenge, get your self-mastery journal, family. Those was 2 writing prompts, and I forgot to say, there's no better time to be standing in the congregation of the mighty, the home of the stubborn minority, the place where your hustle builds my soul. This is Imani Journey Media. I am your host, Brother Hatim, and of course you know that this is a Heart of a Simple production all day, every day. We only do one thing. We strive to blow up those old paradigms because they hold you back. What you mean the explosion went to the bathroom? I mean, you couldn't give me a note? You couldn't flap your wing or something? Is he back? Well, we strive to blow up your old paradigms. Finding good help is so hard to find. Do anybody know any explosions out there that need some employment? I've been gone all day. I walk in, I start the show, I say, hey, it's time to do the show. Is everybody ready? Yep. I do my prep, and he go to the bathroom when I push play. Have to pray. All right, anime. But she went to the bath. Somebody better blow that war horn. It's time for us to get to the rant. She back. Yep. She back. All right. Can I get my theme music, please? I'm thinking all the time, family. Now, here we go. Hold on. What's going on? Oh, I love these cartoons. Anyway, our rant today is called Kuumba and Purpose. We're going to get through it. But before we do that, can we get here from Giami Journey Media?
I am a Giami man. I was born for greatness. My greatness comes from my potent center. I pledge to find and connect with my center. I pledge to build my spirit, mind, and body. I pledge to use my hands to build a better world for myself, my loved ones, and my community. I pledge to use my mind to think deeper, further, and higher to create a better reality for myself. I pledge to live my life and go beyond all my self-imposed limitations. I pledge to promote the principles of the Giami warriors and to assist all those who are seeking the path of success. I pledge all these things first to myself, my teachers, to all my relations, and to my higher power. I am Giami.
Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. So let's get started, family. We are talking about Kuumba and Purpose. You've been following this week. It's been fire. We are in the week of Nia. We want to give all of the Nia babies a round of applause. And of course, we're moving on Kuumba. We are Kuumba. This is Kuumba, right? So we on a Kuumba day. Give the Kuumba babies a round of applause too. So here we go. Without any further ado, Kuumba and Purpose. First off, let me say great Kuumba to you, family. It's important that we greet each other every day because part of our Kuumba is that we have restructured the week. And those of us that's in Giami, those of us that are on a Goose Sabachata, we have to start changing the lingo. That's part of the creativity that we're going to kind of talk about today. We got to take charge. Just because somebody say something does not mean that that's necessarily what it is. We have just as much power as these people as far as when it comes to how we greet each other. So I greet you, Kuumba. Great Kuumba, family. I'm speaking to the creative part of you, the part that's closest to the creator itself. All right, let's go. Being on Nia requires us to be able to adjust our plans. Those of you who know. And a lot of times this may happen in the midst of action. Like oftentimes y'all see me, I will stop in the middle of something and I will try to keep going and I will have to go and be creative to make something happen. Hook something up that I can't necessarily touch, and I don't really speak the computer language, but I've been working with this stuff long enough that I can make shit happen in the moment. Nia is going to require you to be, in a sense, building the plane while you're flying it. Some of y'all want to sit on the runway all goddamn life. You got to get the plane up. You got to get it moving. You have to be building. And sometimes you have to build in motion because it's up against real life where the real test happens. Laboratories, like your mind, are closed environments that are not exposed to all the havoc and fuckery and bitchcraft that is out here in this world. So you got to get your ideas out into the world. You got to get your creations out into the world. Kuumba is directly linked to our intuition, which allows us to plug into the ancestral realm and pull on wisdom much older than we are. Now, remember, we said that intuition is us knowing without necessarily knowing how we know, right? And I am throwing out there that this is part of our Kuumba, and it's part of the creativity. And it's not just plugging into our creativity, but it's plugging into, let's say, black mind of all of our genetic memory, all of our psychic energy that's out here. We are able to plug into it. You know, other cultures be talking about these Ashik or Kashik or whatever they say records. You know what I'm saying? I do believe there is a collective consciousness that's just waiting for us to get into it. And I think Kuumba may be the key. But that's for further research. That's stuff that I would love to find with some of the young people or some of the older people that might be like, look, I really want to look into that if we ever really start doing some stuff. Kuumba is directly linked to our intuition, which allows us to plug into the ancestral realm and pull on wisdom much older than we are. Kuumba will begin to flow in us as we establish our Imani in ourselves. Now check it out. We establish Imani in ourselves and begin to trust our skills. This happens because in the pursuit of our Nia, we talked about this, we begin to practice, and from practice, we develop a confidence in our skill. And this allows us to fall into the zone. This is also described in the literature as the flow state. When we are able to reach this state in pursuit of our purpose, we begin to release creativity. Now listen, the act of creation feeds on confidence. Now, the confidence that I'm talking about is the confidence of a practiced performer, the confidence of a practiced mathematician, the confidence of a practiced scientist, the confidence of a practiced spiritual man, the confidence of a practiced speaker. This Kuumba feeds on our confidence. But there's also something else going on here when we get into this so-called flow state that I want to talk about that allows your Kuumba to work. So let me go and get into that real quick. The act of creation feeds on the confidence. And that confidence only comes from practice, family. Let me say that. And the flow state happens because we have done the work necessary to move to a kind of autopilot. When we get into the zone, we are on an autopilot, right? Where we are conscious of what we're doing, but we don't have to worry about it. It's sort of like walking, because at first you used to have to think about walking. Then you did it so much that you don't have to think about it. And every now and then you need to check in with your body to make sure that everything is going right, because you might stumble or something like that. But you don't have to focus on walking, so now you can chew gum at the same time. Now you can think. Now you can walk and look at your phone and type on your phone. You know what I'm saying? Now you can talk on your phone while you're walking, right? And be in a whole nother place in your mind while you're walking down the street. When you first started walking, you had to focus all your concentration, all your mental energy, all your faculties on one step at a time. But as you develop the confidence, you are now able to create in motion. That is the autopilot that I'm talking about. And when we start doing things and we start allowing ourselves to get into that zone, we allow the autopilot to take over, which makes room for other things to start happening. for us to invest in other things, in us investing in tricks, in us investing in moves, in us investing in improvement to equations and thinking deeper about a subject. There's some people that are so well studied, they could pick up a book. And what would take a normal person 3 weeks to go through, they'll be able to get it done in a day or maybe 2 days because they are well skilled at studying and they could put it on autopilot. And at the same time they're reading one book, they could be reading 3 others. Some of y'all out there could do it. And keep everything in the compartment that it needs to be in. We multitask. That's what we do. And in the midst of us working on, if you remember the cycle that I gave you, it allows you to build up the practice so that you could get that auto thing, got it on autopilot. You got it moving by itself so that now you can invest your time in other things because you got this part of your purpose working on autopilot. Every now and then you got to come in and check on it because every now and then there's going to be a stumble. Every now and then you might trip. Every now and then it might fall, but you got the skills to pick it back up and keep it moving and then be able to do something else. All right? So it's on an autopilot. And since we don't have to focus on what we are doing directly, other resources in us are able to be turned on and turned towards something else. This is where Kuumba flows from, especially when we are moving towards our purpose. So once again, let's just recap. Nia needs Kuumba, as well as all the other principles, but we're talking about Kuumba right now. Kuumba is important to Nia because Kuumba allows the individual that's seeking their purpose to be able to create on the spot in the process of pursuing Nia, which allows new things to arise and emerge. All right? And our creativity feeds on our confidence that is sparked by our practice, which we're going to talk a little bit more about tomorrow, because how do you empower your Imani? What y'all think about that? We maintain a connection to our ancestors, but because it is an accidental or ignored connection, we often cannot access it. As a matter of fact, for many people in our community, it is diagnosed as an ailment when people accidentally fall into contact with our ancestors. We don't know how to handle it because it has been stripped away from our culture. And you have been made to feel ashamed of the fact that you have the ability to communicate. You're talking to the dead? Oh, maybe your ancestors is dead, but my ancestors are not dead. My ancestors are active part of my community, active parts of my tribe, and an active part of my family. This is why we have practices in the way we do. This is why we do the daily toast, because we are lifting them up. See, in our tradition, our ancestors were not removed from our families. They played a role. You know, that might have shot over some of y'all heads because some of y'all so caught up. Ooh, you talking about ghosts? Oh, my book tell me that you familiar with spirits? Ooh. Y'all need to stop being scared of your culture, family, because your culture's not scared of you. It has open arms. We have to understand that a lot of these faiths that are out here were designed against you. As a matter of fact, in a sense, learned from you and turned against you. They don't hear me, anime. They don't hear me. Taken from you and turned against you. So the very things that you did to be able to create these other faiths, they have turned it around and said, because you do that thing, you are wrong and you are going to hell. But let me say something to all of you, that if you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And that is a stupid game. Okay, so now, a lot of people in our community accidentally stumble on to being able to deal with the other world. And because we have stopped it and we have allowed belief systems to eradicate that aspect of our culture, we got people running around here self-medicating because they think they're seeing ghosts and shit. They think they're crazy. And I ain't saying everybody that sees shit ain't crazy. Don't get me wrong. But it's many of them that might actually not be. And we need to go on and start incorporating our practices so that we could get them back to doing what they will be doing in our community. Communicating with our ancestors. We maintain a connection to our ancestors, but because it is an accidental or ignored connection, we often cannot get full access. Once we decide to plug back into our culture and start adding the practice or the practices that put us in touch with our ancestors, we open up our intuition. This intuition gives us access to our ancestral knowledge. This is why I connected to Kuumba. That has always been there, the ancestral knowledge that has always been there. We have not been able to get in contact with this knowledge because of the trauma and programming that we are presently trying to break through right here, right now. Gotta blow up those old paradigms because they're not serving you. This process requires us to do what we call in Giame, recreating ourselves and our group. We also can serve ourselves well by putting constant anchors for our culture and what we are trying to do around us. An anchor is something that holds you in a certain mind state. You watch athletes have many anchors, especially ones that are good. They have a lot of anchors that they might use. You know what I'm saying? One anchor I could think of, and then, people be like, that wasn't no anchor. Well, remember Michael Jordan used to always chew when he was playing, whether he had gum in his mouth or whatever. He always would chew. That puts him, that's something that he does in those situations that allow him to reach that flow state. It's an anchor in that state. You'll see certain people pull on their socks or pull on the tip of their helmet. Or you even see some people who might wear the same socks for a game or have certain things in their locker, right? Have a certain way of entering the ring. Some people even have certain ways of opening up textbooks. You understand what I'm saying? Certain things that they could chant before doing something that will put them in a state where they're able to do it. So we have to be able to anchor ourselves in our culture. We have not been able to connect with this knowledge because of the trauma and programming that we are presently trying to break through. This process requires us to do what we call in Giame, recreating ourselves and our group. We also can serve ourselves well by putting constant anchors for our culture and what we are trying to do all around us. In Giame, we have changed the days of the week to reflect and remind us. We have changed the calendar to remind us. We have certain sayings that are in common. We have changed the language, and we have even taken on personal principles in our life to keep us focused. We have adopted holidays and turned them into cultural stabilizers, and we are constantly adding new things that can help us stay plugged into our culture and purpose, even while we at work, even while we have to do other things that bring us into the world. We got our anchors to always remind us of our culture and our purpose. The world will always find a way to try to pull you back into the fold. But once you begin the journey, you will never see the world or interact with it in the same way. All the ideas came to us, check it out, through us. All the ideas came to us and through us because we have decided to open ourselves up to Kuumba and to our culture. Our culture, therefore, open ourselves up to Kuumba by following the process that I showed you yesterday. We have also identified our individual purposes and have found ways to fit them into the tribe structure so that we can build ourselves up as well as build up the group. It doesn't have to be mutually it doesn't have to be a singular focus. There's enough room for you to fulfill your purpose and for us to figure out, sit down and see how we can help you get to where you need to get, and you can help the tribe get to where they need to get. And anybody that tells you that you can't do that, you don't need to be fucking with them. I'm just being honest. I found in my travels that there are pockets of people like us all over the world, but there's no common call that can bring them all together yet. We're working on that at G&J Media, and there's other organizations and other tribes and other groups out there that are doing it. Many people are still out there feeling alone and isolated, not able to find their purpose and cut off from their Kuumba because they're not plugged into their culture. And we have to find ways to get them the information that they need. This is another place where our Kuumba can serve us and create all other tribes and provide partnerships that can pay somebody a living wage. Kuumba is about solving problems. When we apply this, y'all seen Superman went on? Kuumba is about solving problems. When we apply this power to our Nia, we become a powerhouse. Now, what happens when we build or join a group of like-minded people that are using the same ideas? We create a group mindset that is now available to the whole group on demand. We move from our creativity, which is powerful, to having access to the creativity of our tribe or our group, or a mental link, a group mind, right? Not a group mind where we all run around here like robots. No, we come together. When we come together, we bring our energy together. Our energy starts to meld when we start doing it on a regular basis. And that energy becomes available to everybody that is able to tap in because they're part of the group. I want y'all to think about that. We move from our creativity, which is powerful, to having access to the creativity of our tribe or group. Now, I want you to think about some of the issues in your life that would evaporate if you were able to focus a collective Kuumba upon them. Think about the financial gains, the success problem, the social problems that would also disappear. Also consider how much easier it would be to bring your Nia into fruition. Now, tomorrow, we're moving to looking at Imani and his role with Nia. Family, it's been a pleasure, man. If y'all have any questions or anything like that, hit us up. And, well, just get on the email list and you can correspond with us. Just get on the email list. That's all you got to do. You know what I'm saying? They said, well, how do we do that, Brother Hatim? All you got to do is go to giamijourney.com. You read one of the articles. In every article, there's a picture or something at the bottom that say, join the email list. Or there's something on the left-hand side. If you got those 3 bars, click the 3 bars. You'll see it drop down. The very first thing you drop down is join the email. Keep up with the journey. All right, family, this is Brother Hatim. It's been a pleasure talking with you. I am out.